I took part in the Trans Rights Readathon on the 20th to the 27th of March 2023. My first book out was Dreadnought by April Daniels. This book is the first book in the Nemesis superhero trilogy, and we meet Dani, a trans girl who inherits the mantle of the world-famous superhero Dreadnought. This gives her superpowers like flight and the feminine body she has wanted ever since she realized she was transgender. The book is filled with action, and she not only has to deal with the big and unexpected changes in her life, but some fairly bad transphobia as well. I enjoyed reading this book, and I'm planning on reading the second book at some point as well. And here's a reminder to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and press that little bell icon so that you don't miss out on any videos. The second book I read for the readathon was a graphic novel I was actually quite excited to read. Paper Planes, which is written by Jenny Wood, illustrated by Dozer Draws, and lettered by Mika Meyers, was given to me by NetGalley and the publisher for an honest review. I must admit that I actually really love this story. Leon and Dylan are best friends and spend all the time together. After an incident, they have to spend the summer at a camp for troubled youth, and they both need to get a positive evaluation at the end so that they will not be sent to an alternative high school. They both try to figure out who they really are, and they also need to explore their friendship. This was such a lovely story, and I loved the illustrations. The use of different colors to illustrate whether the story was told in the present or the past or future really made a difference. Paper Planes has a diverse set of characters, and I can mention that there are two main characters, where one is non-binary and one is ace. The book is due to be published 16th of May 2023, and I must admit that I am considering buying a physical copy. I know a lot of people who took part in the readathon created fundraising campaigns to support local trans organizations. Being a Norwegian in Norway, I wanted to pick a Norwegian organization. I decided to support the Norwegian Patient Organization for Gender Incongruence. They don't seem to do donations, but you can buy a membership. As I'm not a trans person myself, I bought a supporting membership. Their webpage states that the Patient Organization for Gender Incongruence, POGI, is a patient organization for people with gender incongruence and their families and related parties. POGI's purpose is to work for a complete, sound and available healthcare provider for everyone living with gender incongruence in Norway. Their goal is a healthcare system where everyone that has a need for gender-affirming healthcare will be able to access the help they need in a reasonable time and independent of factors such as a non-binary identity, sexual practice, or unrelated diagnosis. Work for a healthcare provider which is decentralized, available and based in co-provisions, respect and anchored in international research. If you want to know more about the organization, you can find a link in the description box. The third and last book that I read for the readathon was Bitter, written by Akwake Emensi. This is a prequel to the book Pet, which I have read previously. Bitter has lived a life in foster care but is now attending Eucalyptus. Eucalyptus is a special school and here she can focus on her painting. It turns out that Bitter doesn't only paint regular paintings, but she has the ability to make what she paints to come alive. Outside of the school, though, is the city of Lucille, which is gripped with injustice, and many of her friends are protesting in the streets. Bitter is torn between the need of feeling safe, her friends, and her artistic passion. How can she help the revolution while still staying true to herself? I really enjoyed this book, which was the third book I read by the author. I am very much likely to read more by them in the future. And that was it for this video. I will see you in my next. Bye!